And okay, we are live. Hi everyone, welcome back. This is week number 4. Yeah, we are halfway to the program, and yeah, I must say it's just unbelievable how much progress we made. And yeah, I love how the application is shaped, and um, you'll have done such a great job, and we have another half on our way, and I'm sure it's gonna be even better. So yeah, let's jump into the demos and see what you all have worked this week. Who wants to go first?
Becky, you want to present for us?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll share my screen.
All right.
Okay, so our issue was, well, a fairly straightforward one this week. So the acceptance criteria was in the list view when there aren't any items to display. So when there is a shopping list and a token created, but no items to display, we wanted to show a button to basically prompt the user to add their first item. So this is the deployed site. So I've just got the tools there just to show that there's no token. We're on the home page. So when you go to create list, we've got a button here that says add first item, which then routes to the add item view that we already had created. So how we did it was, so in the items list view, we added a button, a submit button with a click handle redirect, which then used the use history hook to redirect to the add item view when that button was clicked. The only thing that we had during the week was that Joseph pointed out to us was we originally had a link around the button, a link sort of component from React Router, but I don't think that was quite right in terms of HTML being correct. So we changed that to be a handler instead. But the redirect works in the same way because we have the use history hook in there. Yeah, and that was it for us for this week.
Awesome. Yeah, that looks great. I saw the discussion on code review, and yeah, it was great to see yeah, how the explanation in terms of why would like a button be like more like better way in terms of like semantically rather than the link. And yeah, this is I would say like more JavaScript way to have like an event handler that does it for you. So
yeah, and yeah, it's consistent with, because we had use history elsewhere in the app doing the same thing. So yeah, it makes more sense to do that way. So yeah,
exactly.
Great.
Awesome. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
So before you, I can't recall the conversation in the code review, but before you had the link just around the div itself or the link itself.
Let me just share separate again. So we still had the button, but we had a link around the button, and because the link is actually an A link underneath everything, it was still working, but Joseph pointed out that it wasn't actually correct HTML. So yeah, that's why we'd already pushed the pull request up, so it was working, but then I think it wasn't quite right in terms of HTML.
Sorry to interrupt. So you had the A tag around it.
Yeah, well, the link underneath it was converting into an A tag. Which,
Gotcha.
Yeah, because the link is just from React Router.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. Thank you for.
So you can't have an A link around a button. essentially.
Right.
Well, you're not supposed to, but I mean, it did still work, but it wasn't quite right.
Yeah, it seems like, yeah, it would just be totally redundant just because you can vote, you can click on either of them.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you for clarifying that for me.
I don't know if Chemaka, you had anything to add?
No, it's okay.
Good work. So, a little simple issue, so I'm sure that was kind of nice after the first couple of weeks of involved coding.
Yep. Oh, did you try to pair program, or was it? Yeah, I'm curious to know.
Yeah, we did. We pair programmed. I think it was Monday night. But yeah, we only had the one session because it was fairly straightforward. And then when we had the review comments, yeah, we just sort of completed those on our own. But the main completion of the issue was pair programming. So yeah, it worked well.
Nice.
Quite good to have a simple one to practice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and show the recording of Joseph. And then Julia, if there is anything you want to add, like you, of course, like anytime, jump in, you can stop me. You can tell me to like stop the recording or anything you would like. So. Can everyone can see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is the full screen okay, or should I just minimize it?
It's okay.
Okay.
Full screen's okay. I think we may need to turn it up a little bit, the volume, if possible.
All right. Let me see.
Oh.
I have my headphones on,
Yeah,
but maybe I need to take it off. But can you hear now, or?
Yeah, I'll probably just turn up my volume on mine.
My earphones, and maybe it's better.
So basically, issue number 3 required us to add a new feature to our smart shopping list app, which enables a user to mark an item as purchased. So these are the acceptance criteria for this issue number 8. Now, when we go to the feature which we added, so basically, on my left is our app on localhost. It has our latest feature which we added this week. So basically, you can see here that we have these checkboxes which you can mark as checked. When you mark this one as checked, what you're doing is that you're marking this item as purchased. Now, when you look at these two browser tabs, you'll notice that this app, which has already been deployed to Netlify, does not have the latest feature which we added this week. So you'll notice that if I mark this one as purchased and I realize I made a mistake, I can uncheck it. In our database, it will be updated that this item has not yet been purchased. I can do the same for computer, mark TV as purchased, mark house as purchased. So that was the feature we added this week with Julia. Now the code which we wrote here, we started by adding a form to the items list component. Now in this form, we are rendering a list of input label pairs. So you'll notice that we have this input of type checkbox and each corresponding label here. Now this input has an on-change event handler which has been declared on them. Now this event handler invokes this function here, mark item as purchased. This function takes the index of the item which we are trying to mark as purchased as its parameter. Now when we go to the declaration of this function here, you will notice here that out of our shopping list, we extract a list of items. Now, in this if-else condition here, we are checking whether the value of this last purchased on variable is null. If it is null, we assign the current date in milliseconds to this variable here. But if it is not null, then we toggle it back to null. This one here is the code for updating our database after marking an item as purchased, or unchecking the checklist if we realize we marked it purchased by mistake. So when we go back to our input, you'll notice here that the value of the checked attribute depends on the return value of this function here, which takes one argument. This function was item purchased within last 1 day, was declared outside the component. Now you'll notice that it takes one parameter last purchased on. Now, if the value of the variable last purchased on is null, it returns false. Now, of course, if it returns false, that means the item has not been marked as purchased yet. That means there will be no check mark against that item. However, if the value of this variable is not null, we have declared this variable here, which is the duration of 1 day in milliseconds. We obtain it by multiplying 24 hours by 60 minutes by 60 seconds by 1000 milliseconds. So essentially, here we are returning this Boolean value here. Now, this Boolean is arrived at by getting the current date in milliseconds, subtracting away the date when this item was marked as purchased, and then if this difference is less than or equal to 1 day in Good evening.
Was it done at this point?
It's because it's just 5 minutes, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So we reached the 5 minutes here. I guess that's why I stopped.
Okay.
I will go from
Sure.
there. if I can, I'm not sure.
Right. I'll stop sharing.
How do I share?
Great explanation, by the way, Joseph.
Yeah, it is. I can't compete with this. Yeah, we were here and this code, and when it's less than the day of the milliseconds, I'm so bad at explaining.
You're great.
Then
Too.
yeah, then the mark should be unchecked. And what I also want to mention is that, of course, we did the ternary what Go4 was suggesting to us. So the code, I guess, wasn't the latest, but Joseph did it today to make the ternary from this. And when we go to, this is our shopping list. That's not the Netlify one, sorry. Okay, when I add an item, yeah, I like Pikachu, I know. We check it. So there should be in the shopping list our shopping list is huge, with the Pikachu in it, with the purchased date on. So yeah, we have it checked. And when we set this one with a smaller number, I just delete very much. Then it should be unchecked, which it is.
Okay. Great.
Yep, and a great way to debug it immediately, like immediately changing the value in the database.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one question. So yeah, I'm just like curious to know why you decided to go with like milliseconds and not the actual like timestamp. For example, like something that is saved in DB as the actual date, you know, like July 1st, 2021 or like 2020. Was there like any specific reason why you chose to go with milliseconds?
Okay, can I come in?
Yeah.
I hope my background is not noisy like before.
No,
Okay,
it's
we
great.
went with millisecond. We went with milliseconds because it is much easier to work with, in our opinion. Because when you change it to date, when you're computing weather, the difference between those two dates is less than or equal to 24 hours. You'll have to do a lot more than when you're dealing with milliseconds. So basically, it is to make our work easier.
So, yeah, that makes complete sense. It's easier to manipulate the data, and also like when you fetch the data from the DB, it's easier to kind of transfer back it to the like date, even if you want to. I mean, we are not going to do it, but definitely it's easier to manipulate. I agree on that. Any questions?
No questions on my end, but yeah, great explanation on Joseph's part. I really appreciate like the thoroughness of going through and actually seeing what's plugged into what. And actually, Becky, you did this as well, but just like what's plugged into what on the on change or what the whatever handlers happening. We're kind of going back up and going back and forth from like the code written to like what's showing up on the UI. So I appreciate that depth of explanation.
I agree. I also think that the function names and variable names are named really well. It's like super self-explanatory. So for someone who doesn't write code and reviews your code, it's very easy to follow your thought process, like what variable or function is doing what. So I appreciate that. All right. Yeah, great job. Great demos. Really, really great demos. I think you did really well on this. And yeah, we can. I'm gonna turn this to Golfo, and let's do retrospectives of the last 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you, Luca. So I checked out the retro board and I see that there are quite a few cards. But let's take 10 minutes anyway, because I don't know for you, I waited until the last minute to add the cards and I want to write some more stuff. So let's take 10 minutes, and when we're done, we can go over the cards one by one.
Sounds good. I can share the link here as well, real quick, if anyone wants to.
Okay, great. And then we'll just meet back in 10 minutes.
So I think everybody is done. Do you have anything else to add? If I remember correctly, I think that each of us read all of their cards and then we moved on to the next person, or did we read the cards column by column?
So basically, we can go by like appreciations first, read all the cards, and then move to what went well, and so on.
Okay, so I'll share my screen and we can check them out.
Sounds good.
Okay, so first we have Alex.
Okay, yes. Yeah, so appreciation and shout out to our developers for this week during our office hour. I really felt like it flew by, and I really appreciate the fact that you all come with such inquisitive and like curious questions, and I really appreciate that we can or that because of you, you're really contributing to this like open and very inclusive, safe space to ask any kinds of questions, and I think that's awesome. So keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, thank you, Alex. And now for Chamaka.
Okay. Thanks to Julia, my partner last week, for always being available to step in for us both when it's needed and when I'm not available. And always being ready to research solutions to problems we encountered. And to Becky, my partner this week, for an awesome pair programming that we had, and I learned a lot from them. Also, thank you to Joseph for always stepping in to help anytime I chat in for help. I've definitely learned a lot about React since the program started. Also to Alex for speaking to us about getting first tech job, portfolio, side project during the last weekly sync. And because of that, I've decided to go back to my old abandoned project. And also to Luca, Golfo, and Mohammed, our mentors, for your helpful code reviews and mentorship. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Chamaka, for all the personalized shout outs and appreciations. And this one is mine. Thanks to all of you for fitting the Collab Lab program in your busy adult lives. I know that it's not always easy to stay committed and focused, but you have proven that you can stay dedicated. Thanks for helping each other and sharing your thoughts and resources on Slack and GitHub. I think it's very important that you share the knowledge among you, so you all reach the same level of knowledge. And there aren't other people that know more and other less. This is very important in a team. So to you, Luca.
Yeah, thank you, Gofo. I want to say that I appreciate being part of this amazing team and program in general, but being part of your team is really special because your dedication is just amazing, and the time you spent to work on the project is just really, really appreciated. I think you are doing really well with all the collaboration that happens between the teams, and that's really wonderful. And yeah, I want to also emphasize that you are very kind to each other. You are always there to help, and your coordination is really great on Slack, as well as like we heard that you did some pair programming, so that's truly amazing. And same goes to the mentors. Thank you for being such a great human beings.
Okay, thank you, Luca. That's very important, the kindness that you mentioned. And now let's go to Joseph's card.
Okay, this week it was great working with my partner Julia again. Remember, I worked with her in the first week. This week we had an amazing pair coding session. To be honest, I learned a lot about CSS and styling in general from Julia. And she's always available in Slack, as you can jump in any time to help. I would also like to thank the other two players for this week, Becky and Amaka, for the timely code reviews. To be honest, their code reviews have helped us a lot to improve that code. Thank you for that. And then I would also like to thank the mentors, Luca, Alex, Rolf, and Muhammad, for the guidance you have always been giving during code reviews and also during weekly sync. This week we have learned a lot. It was a fun week for us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. And now let's move on to Julia, who changed her GitHub name.
Yeah. Yeah, special thanks to Joseph again, who can explain things so calmly and easy, so even I do understand. Thanks, Joseph. Thank you very much. I learned so much from you. And thanks to Alex, who gave a view about her getting her first job in the last office hour we had with her, and that we should keep on focused and motivated to do our side projects. And she shared her experience. That was really great. Thanks. And yeah, the code review was also very great. I could learn so much from the suggestions and the optimizations suggestions again from Rolfo, Luca, and of course the other team members, Becky and Gianmarca. I think we are a very great team and have very great mentors. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Julia. I also believe that we are a great team. And our last card is by Becky.
Okay, so I just wanted to say thanks to Joseph for jumping in at the last moment last Sunday when I was having a problem with my merge conflicts and was running out of time. So he was really keen to help and jumped in and sorted that out for me. So thanks, Joseph. To Chimaka for a great pair programming session on Monday. It was really good to do that and just get a bit of practice of pair programming remotely. And Julia for starting us off with a design and just getting us thinking about the CSS and what we might want things to look like in the future. Yeah, and just giving us lots of ideas and much more to come, I'm sure. And then to Luca and Alex for great office hours sessions the last couple of weeks. It's just really good to get different perspectives and just be able to ask, like Alex was saying, any questions that we want to about anything coding related or job related that's on our minds. And just to everyone for their code reviews. It's been really helpful and I've learned a lot over the last 2 weeks. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Becky. And I think Mohammed, did you add a card? Or
No, I didn't.
no. Do you want to share your thoughts or maybe?
Yeah, that's easy. I was trying to write it down and then I was like, there was this time pressure, so I wasn't able to write.
Okay.
I would just express myself. That would be much easier.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, absolutely. Like the collaboration in the team, that was great, and especially for the mentors. If I start with mentors, so call for your pair programming last week's session on that was awesome, and the discussion after the pair programming PowerPoint presentation. So that was also very useful discussion. And Luca for like managing us and like reminding us about like making sure that we all move in the right direction and there are things to be done and that sort of thing. So um, that's very nice of you, and that it's appreciated. And then for Alex, like just showing the energy and like her presence in the group, so that's really appreciated. And for the team, like we have been like mentioning this, but I think so like the application is growing complex as we go forward, and the team to be motivated uh, on the same level as they have been in the past. So that's really a very good thing. Like the team has been collaborating in the same way as they have been collaborating since the beginning, and actually they have been improving in collaboration and doing code reviews, and now we have pair programming also in our tool set. So it's like we are growing, and the team. I'm observing that the team is growing in all direction.
because not only once you are learning programming, not only it's like technical stuff that you need to be good at, but also like the collaboration and pair programming and being able to explain yourself. So once during these demo sessions, like how the teams have been explaining the application part and the code part, both things. And as the application is getting complex, the team's ability to explain the application, that has also improved. So that is amazing to see. So good work there. And I could see that you guys are putting your hard work, putting your time in this stuff. And I think so. We are seeing the results of that. So yes, just continue with that. And that's why I was not able to write all of this.
Okay, thank you, Muhammad. That was so thoughtful. I mean, if you're going to say such nice stuff, never write anything again. Just say it. Just say it while during the
Break
retro.
my keyboard.
And so now let's look at what went well. Alex, please go through your card.
Yeah, this is just a quick one off the cuff, but I really think that from the outside looking in, it looks like everyone's really great at time management. I'm sure that things can get a little bit like, okay, it's on the line of like, we need to get this finished, but like just looking at when you all as developers like submit your first like PR and it just seems like you guys are on the ball, you're collaborating and communicating with each other to get it done like on the deadline, and then it just kind of sets everything in motion for the other teams to be able to give their code reviews, the mentors to give our code reviews. And so I think you all do a really good job at time management, and just us in general too on our syncs. They're like perfect timing all the time, and I don't know, it's like little effort to do it, it seems like. So great job on that front.
Okay, thank you, Alex. And now let's move to, I think that's you, Muhammad. Salman, okay.
Yeah, it's a small one. Like I have just written 5 lines, 4 lines. So yeah, maybe it's a bit repetitive because what went well is the same thing, like the interaction and collaboration between the team members and picking up immediately the idea of pair programming, like not being afraid of it and not thinking that okay, maybe we are not ready for it. So immediately picking up the idea and trying it out. And so yeah, great work there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. But speaking of pair programming, when I was presenting the module last week, at the end you said that, okay, we pair program all the time with my teammates. And then I thought, you're the pair programming expert, you should present it.
And I have been like the most unavailable person.
Yeah, thank you. And to Chamaka.
Okay,
Chamaka.
well,
Okay.
we- yeah. Okay, can you hear me now?
Sorry.
Hello? Can you hear
Yep,
me?
yep. We can hear you. Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. What went well? We're able to deliver on the function. Hello?
Chamaka, we can hear you. Maybe you can't hear us.
I can hear you.
Um,
Okay, what went well? Our issues were pretty straightforward and we're able to tackle it and deliver on the functionalities required. Thank you.
Yep, that's true. This week's issues were a bit easier than the first ones. So I think now the app is going to get
Yes.
more complex, but now you also know more. So maybe it will seem easier to you. Okay, so thank you, Chamaka. And now this is mine. All the pair combos work equally well, and the entire team has great chemistry. That's what I like. That looking at the code, I can't tell that okay, this code was by this pair and this was by the other pair. They all seem to work in harmony, and I like that everybody is positive and laughs off the problems they run to. And by this, I don't mean that they laugh it off like it doesn't mean anything to them, but they're very positive and can overcome the problems, and they don't get stressed out by them. And also everybody understands the general program processes and is always very punctual with meetings. And when somebody can't make it, they let the rest of the team know. And the whole process is a lot smoother in the last 2 weeks compared to the first 2 weeks of the project, where here I mean where we had some technical difficulties that are normal when you start a new project with a new team. And the team delivers exceptional work each week to the point that they're going to make the mentors obsolete. By now, I believe that you could finish the project by yourselves. You don't need us, but you know we're around just to make you feel a bit more secure. Okay.
I was sorry, I was thinking like, okay, surprise, we're not going to be joining you for the last 4 weeks, still developers. But we'll still be here.
Okay. Yep. So let's move on to Luca.
Yeah, I totally agree, because I think the team is becoming more resilient, and because of that, they are more independent, and they can kind of try to problem solve between each other, and that's amazing, because it means that you are feeling more comfortable with GitHub, with merge conflicts and all the other issues, which makes you more independent, and that's really great. But of course, we are always here to help.
Exactly.
In terms of application, yes, the code quality is improving like exponentially every week. Like it's improving, and then it doubles every week your improvement, and that's because of your great communication between each other, and feeling more comfortable with working GitHub and issues. I also loved I love discussions on code reviews, because we are not only giving each other some suggestions, but we also share a lot of knowledge there. And the example of this is that, for example, there was a discussion about anchor tag and the button for this week's issue. And Joseph had like really, Joseph, Becky, and all of them actually had a really great discussion. Why would like button be better than anchor tag, or vice versa? So great work there as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Luca. And okay, now we move on to Joseph.
Thank you, Golfo. Okay, this week we had an amazing week. We were able to do pair coding with Julia. Okay, before Golfo's presentation on pair programming, to be honest, I didn't know that pair programming has to be done on the same computer. And then I thought pair programming means two people programming in a way they see fit. But I learned my lesson. This week we were able to do pair programming with Julia. And then this week also, we were able to attend the weekly sync with Alex. It was an eye-opener for me. We talked extensively about the job search in the software industry, about career, about how to write resumes. It was basically an eye-opener for me. That was a +1. Thank you so much, Alex, for having that wonderful presentation. So basically, that is it for me.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. So I see Alex's office hours were a hit, and she had some really valuable tips. And also, I like that the theme of this week was that we tried pair programming, and so I'm glad you could see the benefits. Now let's move on to Julia.
Yeah, the communication with my teammates is always so great, and we did try the pair programming this week, and I learned so much from Joseph, because he explains every detail step by step. And by the end of the week, everyone shared their great suggestions and opinions on the code. Both teams improved their codes as well as possible, I think.
Yep, thank you, Julia. And now the last one is by Becky.
Yeah, so similar to last time, yeah, our communication and teamwork is really great, and I think the sort of workflow and review process works really well in terms of having sort of a steady sort of flow of uploading the PR, having the reviews, implementing all the feedback. Yeah, we got some great review comments, and it's just really great to have so much collaboration within the team.
Okay, thank you. So after seeing what went well, we go to what kept us from making progress and what we could do better the next sprint. So the first card is by me. This last 2 weeks, I feel that the PRs could be merged earlier. I'm not really sure why this is. I mean, the last weeks I was a bit busy and I wasn't so engaged. So on my part, I should do code reviews as early as possible to help the team move forward. For example, I forgot about my code review yesterday and I remembered it today. But fortunately, the other mentors had already stepped in. So that's it on my part. And now we move to Chamaka.
Okay, what could be done better next sprint? Okay, so personally, I want to work on myself about checking GitHub every time I make prayers, because once I'm done with the initial writing of the code with my partner, I don't know, for some reason my mind just keeps telling me that we are done. It's not until next week when we get another issue. I don't always remember to go back to GitHub. And on coming back, I'll now see that my partner is the only person taking the reviews and implementing. So I'll need to work on that for next week. I'll make it a point of duty to always check GitHub each time I make prayer.
Okay, thank you, Chamaka. So if I understand correct, you are talking about more coordination between you and your partner regarding the PRs.
Yes. Sometimes they will leave me messages and I won't see them on time because I don't check GitHub to see the reviews. So I'll start checking GitHub more often now after making prayer.
Okay, thank you. So now you gave me an idea for an action item that maybe we should communicate among us when we will be able to review. Like as mentors can say when we can do a review, you team members can say to each other when you can do a review, etc. Okay, thank you. So now we move on to Luca.
Yeah, I wanted to say the same. I had some limited time this Saturday to be more responsive, but I'm glad we still, the team still implemented some suggestions and then merged the PR. And I think it's a good idea, actually. Maybe we can do some like a reminder in Slack that the code reviews were done and we are looking for some re-implementation. If anybody agrees, you can even remind each other on Slack, or we can also kind of write a small reminder in Slack when the reviews are done. So yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, thanks Luca for your suggestion. And now on to Joseph.
Yeah, in my observation, I think what could be done better is doing code reviews as early as possible. So essentially, when you do a code review, you may request for changes. So if we do it early enough, it will give the coders enough time to do research and integrate those changes requested in the code review. I think we could do better there next time. I'm also a victim of that, to be honest. That's why I keep even checking on a daily basis to see whether there is a review I have to make on it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yep, and also, when you communicate between you for reviews, you should remember that there's a time difference, and keep in mind that the time might be getting late for the other member or something like that. Okay, thank you, Joseph. And now we move to Julia.
Yes. Yeah, I have the same issue as everyone. I think it would be great if you could have a fixed time for merging, for example, Saturday evening, so that it's possible for both sides, developers and mentors. Then there would be enough time for preparing for our meeting on Sunday evening. Everyone has for sure the latest code when we are talking about it and share the screen. And yeah, of course, it depends on the availability of everyone. So.
Okay, thank you, Julia, for your suggestion. I mean, now that our team is a bit more mature, 4 weeks have passed, I think that this goal might be doable, that agreeing on a set time. So thank you for that suggestion. And now we can check out the action items. First one is by Joseph.
I hope I've understood what what I'm supposed to do there. But what I'm going to do, okay. We continue with pair programming. I've seen it is quite useful, and I'll try to be as timely as possible.
Sorry, you said to be as possible. I didn't hear.
As timely as possible.
As timely as possible. Okay, thank you. Yes, this was exactly the type of card you had to make a suggestion for an action item. And I see that most of us more or less agree to that we need some more work on the PRs, etc. Oops, sorry, Mohammed, I think I skipped you in the previous list. I just saw it.
It wasn't me, it was Becky.
No,
yeah, it was me, but I think I had the same point as.
Sorry, Becky. Yep, I skipped you, but I'm looking at again. I think you didn't write a card, Mohammed.
Yeah, I didn't write a card.
So I skipped two people, not only one. Okay, Becky, please just check out your card too.
But yeah, I have also the same thing. Like for my part, especially for my part, like I haven't been as responsive and as communicative as I should have been. So that is something for me to look into, especially during the last part of the week when there are code reviews and we have like more stuff that needs to be done. So yeah, and I was like for my part also like I have a lot of notifications from GitHub and from Slack, and I don't usually use Slack. So my only use of Slack is for Collab Lab. So sometimes I need to figure it out, but sometimes I find it very difficult to like because the conversation is lost in the thread. So there are like sometimes the thread has I've seen like there are more than 50 messages and whatnot, and it's hard to figure out like where is this important part, or like where is this communication. So yeah, that is something for me to like get used to it.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, maybe we can find another way to communicate. I was checking in the project board if there's a way to discuss there, because so that threads don't get messed up. I mean, the project board here in GitHub. Okay, thank you, Mohammed. And now to Becky.
Yeah, I think I had similar points to everyone else. Just it would be useful to aim to merge our PRs if we can on Saturdays. Just as I said, I had a short amount of time last Sunday, and I came across the merge conflict, and then it's that time pressure of knowing that it's the day of the sync. So I think we do generally have enough time to do that. It's just, as we've been saying, just making sure that we're implementing changes and just keeping things ticking over kind of on Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, I suppose.
Okay, thank you. And there's one last action item by Julia.
Yeah, it's just for me. I have to study more and more.
Okay, thank you.
For everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, now we have to decide on an action item to work on. So I guess we can all agree that the action item we will work on is for Julia to study more. And but I think we are running out of time, so maybe we can discuss in Slack about an action. But most of us had more or less the same points that we need to coordinate our schedule a bit better for the pull requests. So thanks everybody for the retro. We will continue this in Slack.
Sounds good. Great. Thank you, Golfo. Okay, so we have a discussion about next week's issues. And Mohammed, do you want to share your screen? Or?
Yes.
Okay, I also sent out the pairs for the next week in the chat, so you can.
Okay, so issue number 9 and then issue number 10. So issue number 9 says that as a user, I want to filter my shopping list to make it easier to locate an item in the list. And then the acceptance criteria is displaying a text field above the top of the shopping list. As the user types into the field, the list should narrow to display only items that contain the text the user entered in filter field. When the field has text in it, the user should be able to tap a UI element, example an X button next to the field to clear the field. And then the filtered text should match any part of the item name. So I don't remember, but like, is this like clear to everyone, or do we have any questions around it? Yeah, I think so. This is like very well written, like what needs to be done.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah. So then we could move to this issue number 10. As an item, I think so. It would be as a user. So as a user, I want my estimated next purchase date to be computed at the time when my purchase is recorded in the database, so the app can learn how often I buy different items. So the acceptance criteria for this is when a purchase is recorded, the estimate number of days until the next purchase date should be calculated and recorded in the database. And then we have this helper script estimates.js that should be used to calculate the next estimated purchase interval. So basically it tells you your next estimated or predicted purchase date based on this amazing algorithm in estimates.js. It's a very simple thing. I looked into it, so nothing. But yeah, it gives you this estimated next purchase date.
Yeah, I think it's like similar to last week. One of the issues are pretty straightforward. Another is a bit. It needs a bit of planning and some kind of brainstorm before you jump into the actual coding part. But both issues are very fun and super useful in terms of the application.
Yeah, this one is a bit. It leaves the decisions to be taken by developers more, like how to design this. So it's Luca, it's team's option, like which team takes which issue.
Yeah, definitely. You can so teams can choose which issue they want to take. And for the coming week, we have Julia and Becky, and Amaka and Joseph as pairs. So you can go ahead and choose which one you want to work on this week. Or we can randomly assign these issues also. But if anyone wants to try out the estimated algorithm and work on it.
Yeah, I think our group likes the unknown, the surprise aspect. They like to be assigned the the issues.
Yeah, they're not afraid of anything. They're like, give me any task.
That's right. Yeah, we can follow the order if that's fine with you. I don't know. Julia and Rebecca can do 9, and Amaka and Joseph number 10, if that's fine with you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Is there any question around issue 9 or 10?
No.
Not yet, not yet. But yeah, if there are any questions, then it could be discussed on Slack. So, Sam, best of luck.
Absolutely. Right. Awesome. Yeah, great weekly sync. Amazing demos, and retrospectives are always fun and so useful. So thank you all for joining, and best of luck with the issues for the coming week. And of course, let us know if you have any question during the week anytime.
Woo, okay.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
you very much.
everyone.
Bye.
See you in Slack.
Have a nice week.
Bye. You too.
Bye.
Bye.